Redmi Note 5 Pro. And so Redmi Note 5 Pro, it is also the first device in the world to come with Qualcomm Snapdragon 636 mobile platform. Yeah, the first device in the world. With Redmi Note 5 Pro, we are again bringing flagship grade performance to the Redmi Note series, and that's all thanks to Snapdragon 636. This completely destroys the performance of any phone in this segment. If you want performance or power, Redmi Note 5 Pro is the only phone to get. Redmi Note 5 Pro also has up to 6 gigabytes of RAM. Redmi Note 5 Pro has amazing performance. Snapdragon 636 and up to 6 gigabytes of incredibly fast LPDDR4X RAM. Now let's talk about design. We have a similar tapered back cover to what we have in Redmi Note 5, and it curves perfectly in the edges. And if you'll notice in the demo zone, the corners are also a little bit different on Redmi Note 5 Pro. It fits really comfortably in your hands. So here are all four: lake blue, black, gold, and rose gold. The real true power of this phone is the camera. Redmi Note 5 Pro is India's camera beast. It's got great performance, but the camera is awesome. And I can confidently say that this is the best camera of any smartphone that we've shipped here in India. The Redmi Note 5 Pro has a dual camera. I got a bunch of claps for that in the video. It's the first time we've ever shipped a dual camera in a Redmi Note smartphone. And it's a 12 megapixel IMX486 sensor from Sony, the main sensor. And the secondary sensor is a 5 megapixel color sensor to capture depth information. The rear camera comes with the portrait mode. And while the dual camera helps, as many of you know, software is as important, if not more important than hardware when it comes to camera performance. So let's take a look at some of these rear camera photos. It's pretty awesome, right? We started with this one because you can see the depth effect is really good. This guy really pops out in the photo. But importantly, the sensor quality shows up here in the details on his shirt. It's white on white, but you can still make out the details and the texture of his shirt. So here's another one. Again, the edge detection of our algorithm is really, really good. Now this photo is a favorite of a guy in our team. The portrait mode works well on many different types of objects. This next photo is, I think, my favorite. This looks like it was taken on a DSLR, and this was not taken by a professional photographer. So I think this next thing you guys will like. For videos, Redmi Note 5 Pro comes with EIS. So now let's talk about the front camera. And actually, I think the front camera is even better than the rear camera. Yeah, this is probably my favorite. This one or the swing is probably my favorite image of the ones we showed today, but this is particularly impressive because it's taken on a front camera. The bokeh effect is really good. You have good colors, deep blacks on her hair, her dress, her shirt comes out, the reds are nice. But again, importantly, there are two people in this photo. Well, this is our first phone ever which ships with portrait selfies. And as you can see from the previous image, the results are really great. All right, so comparing Redmi Note 5 Pro to the iPhone X might seem like a stretch to some of you, but I encourage all of you to try it. Our algorithm is really, really, really good. All right, so the Pixel 2 is considered one of the best cameras in the industry, and both of these images are good. But again, if we zoom in, while the Pixel 2 does a better job than the iPhone X, Redmi Note 5 Pro still has better edge detection, and it still captures more details in the hair. The second problem we wanted to solve with the front camera is low light selfies, better low light photography. f2.2 aperture, but it's not just any 20 megapixel sensor, it's also high quality. The 20 megapixel front camera, which is a IMX376 from Sony. That means we have Sony sensors on both the front and rear camera. Redmi Note 5 Pro also comes with an LED selfie light. So you can see how this all plays out in this photo. It's actually taken under very difficult conditions, but the selfie light and the 2-micron pixels from pixel binning make it seem like the lighting is actually good in this photo. So the front camera has great low light performance and our awesome, what I consider to be best-in-class portrait selfie mode. So we have some more snaps here today. I think this one is interesting because the algorithm can actually distinguish that this dark area is not his hair, which might be a reasonable mistake. It realizes that it's a plant. The semantic segmentation can blur it out, and if you look at that line on his neck, it's actually still sharp. So that is the camera. It's the amazing portrait mode on both the front and the rear, powered by our AI-based algorithms. It's a dual camera with 20 megapixel on the front and Beautify 4.0 on both the front and rear. The perfect portrait. So we have one more AI-based feature to show you, and that's Face Unlock. So this is the first time we've ever released Face Unlock here in India, and it's actually faster than a fingerprint reader. It's pretty cool. And Redmi Note 5 Pro, it has everything. It has the flagship grade performance from the Cryo cores, 6 gigabytes of RAM, and that RAM is fast. LPDDR4X RAM, which actually the Galaxy S8 doesn't even have. And my personal favorite, it has a 4,000 mAh battery. You cannot get this kind of performance in a phone with a battery like this. If you use any of these phones, you will inevitably run out of battery, and that does not happen with Redmi Note 5 Pro. And then the camera is great. The dual camera on the rear and 20 megapixel front camera. So we have two versions. The 6 gigabyte version with 64 gigabytes of internal storage is 16,999. We also have a 4 gigabyte version with 64 gigabytes of internal storage. Again, DDR4X RAM. And the price of that is... So that's two phones today. Redmi Note 5, which is India's all-arounder. You get an all-new design, a better camera, particularly in low light, and the same great performance and battery life, with the same great RAM-ROM configurations at an even better price. And Redmi Note 5 Pro, which again is the best camera we've ever shipped in a phone here. It has pretty much everything. We couldn't fit it on this slide. I don't know what else we could have added to this phone. And it's just 13,999 for flagship grade performance, 4 gigabytes of super fast RAM, and an amazing camera. And you get a 6 GB version at 16,999.